If you've been scrolling through Netflix, recently, you probably saw this new show called The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On. If you're in one, you know this. Relationships are hard, and when one partner isn't happy or they're seeking some sort of change, ultimatums often come into play. But does an ultimatum even work? I talked to Dr. Christy Kettering, who weighs in. Dr. Christy, it sounds like we've been binging the same show, this ultimatum show about relationships and one person saying, hey, this is going to happen or I'm leaving. What is an ultimatum? I suppose in this way it was for an engagement, right?
Right. So an ultimatum is basically when one partner tells the other partner that if this specific change doesn't happen, then the relationship doesn't work. So it's kind of this setup for, is this compatible with what you want? No, then I'm out.
It seems sad at that point because it's like they love each other, but just like one person's needs aren't being met. Is that kind of what you see in an ultimatum?
Right. So usually when someone feels like they have to give an ultimatum to their partner, it's because there's a root problem going on. So the ultimatum is kind of a symptom, a last straw. Nothing else has worked, so I have to do this thing in order to get those needs met. So generally, it's not the ultimatum just comes out of the blue. It's a longer period of time where the person has been waiting and hoping for a change that may or may not come.
In all of your work with couples, do these work? Do ultimatums, can we start saying this and getting real change to happen?
Yeah. So what I always say is that if you feel like you need to give an ultimatum to your partner, a great first step is going to couples therapy, because then you can really understand the root of the problem, what your true desires are and what your partner's true desires are, because often that feeling of giving an ultimatum often feels like a threat. And so you don't want to enter or continue a healthy relationship with it feeling like they were threatened into being with you or making this change. You want it to really come from the heart. So what I always say is the best first step, if you feel like you need to do that, is to really communicate your needs, and that ideally through like a therapist or some sort of mentorship. And then the second thing I say, if you're single out there, and I work with a lot of singles, is that you want to be really clear on what you're looking for and communicate that upfront, so you don't enter a situation where your desires and vision for the future is different, and then down the road you're going to be having to make these compromises or feel like you have to give an ultimatum. So I always say be really clear on what you're looking for and only date people that align with that vision.
Is there an alternative to an ultimatum, like something that we can do instead of getting to that point, maybe even of being like, I can't do this unless this happens?
Yeah. So what I would really say is that ultimately we can't make our partner change. So you can never make another person change, but you can potentially make some changes to be a better partner for your partner. And that might make them feel secure. Maybe they want to have that commitment. They want to have that kid. Usually those are the two situations I see ultimatums come up a lot, because they feel really secure. They feel like their needs are getting met with you. So start with yourself. Really focus on, what can I do to make this relationship a healthy and beautiful relationship? And you might see some of those desired changes unfold more naturally.
I was surprised on the Netflix show. It was like the relationships had gone on for a year and a half, 2.5 years. And I was like, is that long enough to even be giving an ultimatum?
True. And I think that that's where I saw a lot of times that one of the partners, usually the partner that gave the ultimatum, in some way was not meeting or really seeing their partner's needs either. So that made it feel like they weren't on the same team, and probably why the partner didn't want to take that step. So I noticed that a lot in the show as well.
Yeah, it was interesting, but of course you apply it to your own relationship and you think, oh, I've said this before, like you've got to do this or this is not going to work, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that comes from a place of fear, and it's totally natural. But I think when you realize that this is just kind of a surface level solution to what might be a deeper problem, that's what makes you want to do that work. That's really going to create the relationship you want, not just, oh, okay, we're together or whatever the thing you were hoping to get from the ultimatum.
Yeah. Okay, so now, now we know. For more advice, you can go to Instagram and follow the Date Dr. Christy.